Folks, it's over. The dream is dead. The pursuit has ended in absolute heartbreak. And the Toronto Blue Jays have not only missed out on another elite free agent for the third straight year, they've lost out on yet another superstar to the Los Angeles Dodgers. Yes, you heard that correctly. Kyle Tucker did not go to the New York Mets like everyone expected. He went to the Dodgers, and people across baseball are now absolutely clamoring for a lockout, saying the league is completely broken, that competitive balance is destroyed, that the sport we love is being ruined by one team's ability to outspend everyone. We're going to break down exactly how this gut-wrenching situation transpired, analyze the absolutely insane contract numbers that just dropped, discuss what this means for the Blue Jays' championship aspirations moving forward, and explore where Toronto pivots from here after missing out on their primary target. Kyle Tucker is not a Blue Jay. He's not a Met. He is a Los Angeles Dodger, and the fallout from this decision is going to be massive. This is absolutely sickening, folks. I'm legitimately sick to my stomach right now. I'm not even going to do my usual subscribe pitch at the beginning of this video because I'm too devastated to care about YouTube metrics. Moments ago, Kyle Tucker officially agreed to join the Dodgers on a short-term deal. And there was a minute there where Jon Heyman tweeted that a decision had been made, and it wasn't the Mets. And everyone immediately thought, okay, it must be the Blue Jays then. But no. He went to the Los Angeles freaking Dodgers in an absolutely sickening, soul-crushing decision that has Blue Jays fans ready to riot. I'm not going to blame Kyle Tucker necessarily because he made the decision that was best for him financially. This is just ridiculous. At this point, it's confirmed as a short-term deal, and we're still waiting on all the specific contract details to emerge. But I'm refreshing Twitter constantly as I'm recording this, trying to get you the most up-to-date information. This is just brutal. Absolutely brutal. The way this unfolded, the way hope built up over the past few days, only to come crashing down in the most devastating way possible. I genuinely thought Tucker was going to the Mets. You had Steve Cohen tweeting cryptically tonight about how they're waiting for everything to fall into place. Reports were swirling that a deal was imminent. And then boom, the Dodgers swoop in at the last second and steal another star from under everyone's noses. In an offseason that up to this point has genuinely been great for the Blue Jays, and I don't want to take away from the excellent moves Ross Atkins has made you now have fans talking about how the lockout cannot come soon enough. People are screaming that the league needs a salary cap, that the Dodgers' spending is ruining baseball, that small and mid-market teams have zero chance to compete. It's absolute chaos in the baseball world right now. Jeff Passan has confirmed it officially. Star outfielder Kyle Tucker and the Los Angeles Dodgers are in agreement on a free agent contract. Sources tell ESPN that the deal is done. Tucker is heading to Los Angeles, and the baseball landscape has been fundamentally altered. This has been an absolutely crazy day from start to finish. Reports yesterday were saying a decision was imminent. Then reports just hours ago were saying the Blue Jays had him. Other reports claimed the Mets had sealed the deal. Boston Red Sox beat writers were even saying Toronto had landed Kyle Tucker. Every single person, every insider, every reporter was completely wrong. Nobody saw the Dodgers coming. There were barely any credible reports linking Los Angeles to Tucker in a serious way. And yet, here we are with Tucker heading to Chavez Ravine on what's being reported as a massive short-term deal. I genuinely didn't think he was actually going to choose the Los Angeles Dodgers out of all the teams involved. The Dodgers were always lurking in the background, but the reporting suggested it was really down to the Blue Jays and Mets. I'm desperately curious to see if the Dodgers beat the 4-year, $200 million deal that was reportedly offered by the Mets. We know it's a short-term structure rather than the long-term commitment Toronto was offering, but beyond that, we're waiting on contract specifics. And folks, as I'm literally recording this right now, the numbers just broke from Robert Murray, and you're not going to believe what you're about to hear. For years, $240 million. I'm reading this in real time as the notification pops up on my screen. For years, $240 million. That's $60 million per year for Kyle Tucker. The Dodgers have absolutely lost their minds. This is the most absurd, ridiculous, over-the-top contract I've seen in recent memory. Robert Murray just tweeted, free agent Kyle Tucker and the Dodgers have agreed to a $240 million contract. $60 million per year. I honestly can't even blame Kyle Tucker anymore at this point. He got the absolute most money possible. The Dodgers outbid the Mets by a staggering $40 million total. The Mets were reportedly at 4 years and $200 million, and the Dodgers just said, screw it, here's an extra $40 million. This video isn't going to be as polished and structured as my content usually is, because this is literally breaking as I'm recording. I'm in complete shock trying to process this information in real time. But folks, let's try to dial in on what this actually means for the Toronto Blue Jays and for Major League Baseball as a whole. The Dodgers are obviously already a super team that just won back-to-back World Series championships. The Blue Jays lost to the Dodgers in the World Series just months ago, and now they've lost out on yet another elite free agent to the same organization. Not just Juan Soto in previous years, not just Shohei Ohtani, not just Roki Sasaki. Now Kyle Tucker joins that list of stars who chose Los Angeles over Toronto. That Tucker offer of 4 years and $240 million at $60 million annually is genuinely impossible to decline if you're the player. The Blue Jays were almost certainly not going to go to that number, and even if they had somehow matched it, Tucker probably would have chosen the Dodgers anyway given their recent championship success in California location. We can look back now in hindsight at all the reports, all the tweets, all the speculation over the past few days and weeks. Everyone was talking about how the Blue Jays were in the mix, how the Mets made aggressive short-term offers, but there was mostly silence regarding the Dodgers' involvement. I want to bring up one specific tweet that mentioned this exact dynamic. Look at that notation. Lots of silence on the Dodgers. That silence was Andrew Friedman and the Los Angeles front office working behind the scenes, quietly putting together an absolutely massive offer while everyone else was focused on the Blue Jays versus Mets narrative. They swooped in at the last second with 4 years and $240 million and completely changed everything. This league is in an absolutely absurd state right now. I don't even know what to say anymore. It's genuinely kind of disgusting at this point how the Dodgers can just outspend everyone for every available star. Now, what does this mean for the Toronto Blue Jays moving forward? It's a 4-year deal for Tucker, so it's definitely short-term rather than the decade-plus commitment Toronto was offering. We don't know all the opt-out specifics yet, but this is a crazy, insane amount of money for Kyle Tucker, who, yes, is very good dive. Been pumping up his value for a very long time, but $60 million per year is just absurd. We saw reports recently about how offers were going to a 4th year, and people thought that would be enough to get a deal done. 3 years and $150 million was being discussed as potentially sufficient. The Mets for years and $200 million seemed like it would seal the deal. But the Dodgers just blew everyone out of the water with an offer nobody could have anticipated. The Blue Jays now need to immediately pivot, and as Frank Amarante tweeted, time to pivot to Bo Bichette immediately. And ultimately, that's exactly what they're hopefully going to do, because all eyes are now on Bo, and it honestly didn't seem like the DJs were going to be oolin' on bringing him back. I'm extremely curious to see what we hear from Ben, Nicholson Smith, and other Blue Jays insiders over the next 24 hours. I'll have a full video first thing tomorrow morning breaking down what's happening as more reports emerge. But that $240 million figure is absolutely crazy, and clearly Steve Cohen and the Mets didn't even want to top it at that point. Cohen's reported offer was 4 years and $200 million, and apparently, even he has limits. $40 million more was too rich even for Cohen's blood. Now, it's worth noting that this could involve significant deferred money, which would reduce the present-day value. There are reports suggesting an opt-out after year 2 for Tucker. But regardless of the structure details, this is an absolutely massive commitment from the Dodgers. For Bo Bichette now, the Blue Jays absolutely have to just go get a bat, whether that comes in the form of a trade for someone like Ketel Marte, whether it's signing Bo to bring him back. The team as currently constructed is genuinely really good. But I don't know if they're quite good enough to win the AL East against the Yankees and Orioles. It's very possible they could, of course, but at this juncture, you have to be aggressive and add more offensive firepower. There are people on Twitter right now talking about how the Blue Jays supposedly didn't offer Tucker the full $400 million on a long-term deal that he might have been seeking. There are rumors circulating that the DJs could have potentially had Tucker if they'd been willing to go 10 years and $400 million. They didn't want to make that commitment. I'm curious to see what details emerge over the coming days about Toronto's final offer. But honestly, I don't think even if the Jays had offered 10 years and $400 million that Tucker would have accepted it, given that the Dodgers came in with 4 years and $240 million. That short-term structure at $60 million annually is just too good to pass up from Tucker's perspective. He can cash in now at an absurd rate, then potentially hit free agency again at age 32 and get another massive deal. It's sad, it's devastating, it's sickening that Tucker went to the Dodgers of all teams. People are absolutely livid about it across baseball. But I need you guys to let me know down below in the comments what your thoughts are on all of this chaos. Again, this video isn't as polished and structured as my content usually is, because this is essentially a live reaction to breaking news. But the emotions are real, and the devastation is palpable. This is a genuinely crazy amount of money, and as we look ahead to what Bo Bichette is going to command on the open market, I don't think Tucker's deal really changes Bo's market all that much. They're different players at different positions with different market dynamics. For Cody Bellinger, the Blue Jays could potentially pivot there as an alternative outfield option. There are still exciting possibilities ahead despite this crushing disappointment. The momentum had started to shift away from the Blue Jays over the past couple hours when reports emerged about Steve Cohen and the Mets being all the chatter was about New York. But then the Dodgers just came out of nowhere and dropped this nuclear bomb of an offer that changed everything. At this point, yes, the Dodgers are undeniably a super team that keeps getting better. The Blue Jays are going to have to figure out a way to get back to the World Series and actually beat them if they want to win a championship. A lockout is probably coming after the current collective bargaining agreement expires because this kind of spending disparity is absolutely unsustainable. The Dodgers basically snuck this deal in before any potential salary cap gets implemented. And now, Tucker can re-enter free agency after year 2 if he wants. It's ridiculous. It's frustrating. It's a little bit dumb, quite frankly. But at the end of the day, the Blue Jays have to pivot immediately. Are they going to try to reopen conversations for players like Kettle Marte? Are they going to make a serious run at bringing Bo Bichette back, which would require moving pieces around and creating roster flexibility? Suddenly, Cody Bellinger makes a lot more sense as a target. Will the Jays pivot and try to slightly overpay for him, or one of the other available outfielders? There's still a lot of potential here for Toronto to salvage this offseason and add impact talent. Bo Bichette is clearly the most obvious fit at this point. Go out and get your homegrown star back, bring him home where he belongs, and build around Vladdy and Bo together. I'm sure the front office has been having internal discussions about this exact scenario as a backup plan. At this point in time, if the Blue Jays don't go out and get another significant bat, it's still been a solid offseason overall. I can't take away from what Ross Atkins has accomplished with Dylan Cease, Shane Bieber, Kazuma Okamoto, and the other moves. But if you do go out and add another impact bat like Bo or Bellinger or Mate, you're instantly in a much better competitive position for 2026. Tucker didn't go to the Mets, but honestly, it doesn't really matter whether he went to New York or Los Angeles from a Blue Jays perspective. I actually would have rather seen him go to the Mets because they're a much worse team than the Dodgers. The Dodgers now have an even more ridiculous super team than they already had. They literally have everybody under the sun in their lineup and rotation, and now they've added Kyle Tucker to that mix. The Blue Jays miss out again for the 3rd year in a row. All really to the Dodgers when you think about it, and it is absolutely sickening. The contract will probably include significant deferrals. So it won't actually be $60 million in present value annually, but it's still absolutely gross and disgusting to watch. You absolutely hate to see one team dominate the free agent market year after year. Let me know down below how you guys are feeling because I know Blue Jays Nation is devastated right now. I'm going to have multiple videos coming over the next few days, obviously. The season is just around the corner. Spring training is approaching, and Bo Bichette is hopefully next up on the Blue Jays priority list. I'm genuinely sick to my stomach. That's the best way to describe how I'm feeling right now. We've lost out on yet another elite free agent to the Dodgers, and it's getting really old, really fast. The Dodgers keep winning, keep spending, keep adding stars, and the rest of baseball is left picking up the scraps. If you're feeling as devastated as I am right now, if you're furious about the Dodgers spending, if you're desperate to see the Blue Jays pivot and add Bo or someone else significant, let me know in the comments. Drop your honest reactions, your frustrations, your hopes for what comes next. And despite my earlier statement, I am going to ask you to subscribe because this channel needs your support now more than ever. We're going to continue covering every development, every rumor, every move the Blue Jays make as they try to recover from this crushing blow. Hit that subscribe button, smash the like button if you appreciate the raw, honest emotion in this video, and turn on notifications so you're alerted when we break down the Bo Bichette situation tomorrow. Share this video with your fellow devastated Blue Jays fans who need to commiserate together. We're all in this pain together. Let's hope Ross Atkins has a plan. Let's pray the Blue Jays land Bo. And let's try to stay optimistic even though it feels impossible right now. The Dodgers win again. Kyle Tucker is headed to Los Angeles. The Blue Jays championship window just got significantly more complicated. But we're not giving up. We're going to keep fighting, keep hoping, and keep believing that Toronto can still build a roster capable of competing. Thank you for watching this emotional, devastating, gut-wrenching video. More content coming very soon as we process this nightmare and look ahead to what's next. Until then, stay strong, Blue Jays fans. We'll get through this together.